We begin Advent with a simple word, watch. Next week, we will be told, stay awake. The third week, we have rejoice. And the fourth week, we have behold. Watch. There are 4 ways that we need to watch. The first is to watch for those moments when the Lord is calling to us to reach out to others. St. Teresa of Avila teaches us, Christ has no body now on earth but yours, no feet but yours. It is your eyes through which Christ's compassion looks out to the world, your feet with which he must walk about doing good, your hands with which he blesses humanity, your voice with which his forgiveness is spoken, your heart with which he now loves. Jesus is calling us to bring his presence to others. Sometimes this might be obvious, like a proclamation of our faith, when we stand up for what is right, regardless of what the crowd is saying or doing. Or we might defend our faith when some people come out with anti-Catholic bigotry, such as, you Catholics don't read the Bible. We do. Or you Catholics worship Mary. We don't. We honor her. We pray for her intercession with her Son for us, but we don't worship her. We have to watch for those times when the Lord calls on us to bring his presence to others by going out of the way to be kind to them. Sometimes even a smile can pick someone up who's having a bad day. We need to be on the watch for those times. We can be Jesus' hands, feet, and voice. Of course, we cannot do that if we are so full of ourselves that we do not notice the plight of others. If our basic outlook in life is, it's all about me, then we're going to miss the times that it is all about him. So you and I need to watch. There's a second way that we need to watch. We need to watch for those seemingly minor changes or additions to our lives that might change the very direction of our lives. I know a young lady who had just finished college and needed to continue her education, but also wanted to take a gap year in her education just to get a break away from school. She promised her parents that she would be definitely back in school in a year, and her parents agreed with her. She thought about getting a job for a year. Then just on a quirk, she decided to check Google for what volunteer services were available. She was shocked at all of the possibilities. She then started looking into them with a mindset in doing something that was run by a Catholic organization. She found many possibilities. She settled on one where she could live with people her age, pray together, and spend time caring for the poor in the big cities. She loved it and had a wonderful year. She went to grad school with 2 great gifts. She was more determined than ever to be a woman of God. That and, well, during her gap year, she met on a mission a young man with whom she could grow closer to God. Now, he's her husband, the father of her children, and the love of her life, at least this side of heaven. You see, she watched, saw what appeared to be a minor change in the direction of her life, a direction more towards God. And now her whole life took a wonderful turn to the better. If we watch, sometimes things that might seem to be a good idea might be the Lord giving us a great idea. The third way we need to watch is a bit scary, but it is realistic. The third way we need to watch is for the time that the Lord is calling for us to leave this world and be fully united with Him. We always need to be ready to come before the Lord. Actually, we need to live as though every day might be both the best day and the last day of our lives. This might seem to be rather morbid, but it is not. It's realistic. We all like to think that we are going to live to be 100. But what if we don't live that long? Will we be ready for Him when we turn 80? How about 50? How about 25? We always need to be ready for the Lord. No matter how old we are, our lives on earth will end much sooner than we expect. We always need to be ready to hear the Lord say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of the Father." The fourth way to watch is to continue to pray. Karl Rahner, an influential Jesuit theologian, looked at some of Jesus' prayers. In them, he saw three elements of these prayers, which can be thought of as honesty, trust, and acceptance. Prayers that are honest, where we trust God hears our prayers, and we accept God's answer to our prayers. If in our prayer we only say those things we think are appropriate to say in prayer, we'll be unable to lament or ask for what we need. We may then find our relationship with God growing cold and distant. If we are honest with our prayers, but we do not really believe God is actively listening to our prayers, then we will start to think God does not have our best interest at heart. The temptation is to assume God is no longer listening simply because we do not feel His presence. To trust God is hearing our prayers. We need to trust God is listening carefully, paying attention. But the most common prayer step that is skipped is acceptance. We can be honest in prayer and trust God hears us, but I have a hard time accepting the answer. But we should remember Jesus' prayer in the garden the night before He died, when He said, "Yet not my will, but your will be done." This is one of the hardest things for a believer to hear. It is hard not to wish my will is God's will in all things. Can we surrender to the future that God has for us, confident in God's love for us? When we pray with honesty, trust, and acceptance, we have a realistic model for all who seek God's help. When we pray for what we need, we should realize we will not always receive what we think we need. Watch. Watch for the times to bring Jesus to others. Watch for the quiet call from Watch for the quiet call from the Lord to refine the direction of our lives more towards Him. Watch for the time when we are called to present our lives to our God. Watch, for the Lord has marvelous things in store for us. And pray, because Jesus said, "I know you hear me."